Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Orlanthi and I stream on Twitch sometimes, mostly for Dark and Darker, but today we're going to have a small beginner's guide to getting ahead early, on how to get geared quickly, mess some mini-bosses and make money to fund your explorations. Let's get right into it. Basic looting, the cracked, flawed, and maybe even normal items you find to sell or use for yourself in combat. There are three main categories for this. The first being vases. Vases give valuables and non-equipable items but sellables that you can sell to get gold from the collector. The second is crates and barrels. You break them, little valuables can spawn underneath the items on top. So it's important to grab whatever the item dropped on top to see if you get a little trinket worth tens of gold. It also equips you in low tier gear, which is nice. And third, we got chests. You've probably seen these before. Maybe even opened a few, ran into a couple mimics. They give a range of low to mid tier gear, but overall they're pretty enjoyable. For my loot lovers out here, cracked items sell for 5 to 7 gold, flawed for 8 to 12 gold, and normal for 13 to 19 gold. Everything else you're probably already grabbing. Mini bosses. In case you didn't know, there's several ways to deal with mini bosses. Have them chase your friends, sacrifice them to Kist, or because of this guide, deal with the most common of mini bosses, the skeleton champion and the brave. Understanding your reach is very important for this. As a fighter main, I use a melee to deal with these two for the most part. But every time I fight them, I take a lot of damage. Well, it's simple. Get higher or lower than the mini boss and they won't be able to hit you, because your hitbox is too high for them to hit, or too low for them to hit. This also makes it harder for people to counter you when you're fighting it. Totally won this engagement, by the way. Absolutely won it. Don't doubt me. Teammates. Now I know what you're thinking now. Why talk about teammates? Well, it's important to understand your role in fights. If you're a barbarian or a fighter like me, you need to block or dodge hits at the front while your teammates try to isolate one of the enemies. You see me run up and try to bait one to be over aggressive. That costs a rogue their life. Then the other two decide to go after me, knowing that I move in a way that'll cause them to look away from my teammates so that they can attack from behind. Though it wasn't needed in this occasion. It can really make the difference. Without reliable friends, winning fights can be difficult, but I believe in you. You got this. Hell, if you're confident, go there. Otherwise, I don't particularly recommend it when you're new. Unless you have to, that is. Here are some tricks on how to survive in hell from my personal experience, and remember, there is reward for the risk. This golden treasure hoard is almost completely free. All you have to do is kill some skeletons again, 2 hellhounds, 1 wraith, and 1 centaur. Really easy. The trick is to learn the attacks. For fighting the hellhounds, you want to dodge by staying to your left. Make sure to start your attack after it lunges at you. Let it use its first attack so that you don't get hit while fighting it. Then, you hit it while moving. Really simple once you get the hang of it. Now, on to the Centaur. Here is a clip of MobileMeowMachine fighting it. Almost the same exact thing for the most part. But you need to be really careful for when the attack swings over you horizontally. So watch its arms carefully. All you have to do is crouch when this happens, although if you're doing an overhand attack, you're still at risk. In conclusion, Dungeon Delvers, using height and positional advantage is the key strategy for taking down the toughest mobs in the game. Understanding how to efficiently loot can greatly increase your chances of survival and success later on in the game, as it allows you to quickly gather the resources you need to continue your journey. With these tips and strategies in mind, you'll be well on your way to becoming a pro at taking down the hardest mobs, looting efficiently, and wiping lobbies. Remember to subscribe and leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below on what we should do next. Thanks guys.